The Extreme Super Christmas Special. Just look at that title. Will it live up to the hype? Let's find out if we all have a Merry Christmas. Derivative. It's kind of a dirty word. Derivative. Adjective. Having parts that originate from another source, made up of or marked by derivative elements. Now, I'm not here to throw stones because the Glass House isn't just a venue in Pomona where I saw Yasser. It's also where I live. A glass house, not Pomona, nor the Glass House. Jokes for my wife, Judy. Probably no one else. Heck, I wrote a novel with an underlying comic book narrative and sort of metafiction within it that is all very much derivative, intentionally so. Again, I'm not here throwing stones, but I can't help but look at Youngblood and see X-Force and the Justice League kind of mashed up in a slightly different way. Maybe a more extreme way? And that's okay. Sometimes these derivative characters are the best. They're the things we end up falling in love with. Just look at the Fantastic Four. Then look at the Challengers of the Unknown. Look at Mr. Fantastic, at Elongated Man, at Plastic Man. At this point, I don't even know the order that those characters were invented. Like I said, I love the aforementioned Youngblood. Wait a minute, not Justice League, but Teen Titans? According to Comic Book Resources in an article going back 20 years, Rob Liefeld actually pitched it as a spin-off of Teen Titans. It would have been called Titans Force or Teen Titans. In the article referenced within the article I'm referencing, Robert said, "I proposed a new Titans book in 1991. Teen Titans was the proposal. John Peterson, who edited it, approved it. Marv Wolfman signed on to co-write it. When the deal didn't work out, meaning the numbers, and numbers means money, but he said numbers. When it didn't work out, he said, I took my proposal and merged it with an existing indie project I had called Youngblood. Next thing you know, poof, Image Comics was born." Just like that. Poof, Image Comics was born. Not that this was the first Image comic, but it's the only one I have in the garage. He went on to elaborate. Shaft was intended to be speedy, Vogue was a new Harley Quinn design, Ditto for Photon and Die Hard was a Star Labs android, I forgot who Chapel was supposed to be. So there you have it, the secret origin of Youngblood. While my favorite Youngblood character is Badrock, as a kid I tried to create my own derivative version of him with a character called Thud. My second favorite is Troll. A close second at that. Troll first appears in Image Comics number 0 from October 1993. Bartholomew is an actual troll, so it's not just a clever name, and has been around for like 1,000 years, fighting various wars, being a mercenary, all that stuff. Like I said, Troll appeared in Image number 0, so he was there from the start of Image. He then appeared in his own comic, which I'll go into in a future video. Cover dated December 1993. After that, he joined Youngblood in issue number 6, cover dated June 1994. I plan to explore all of that in future videos, so make sure you're subscribed if you haven't and turn on notifications to find out when the Troll videos get uploaded. For all my fellow Troll fans out there. Yes, he's Wolverine. He's sort of the joke Wolverine from the bar in Deadpool and Wolverine.
Who's that?
He came from Extreme Studios, so he is kind of taken to the extreme. And again, these are all comics I loved as a kid. Yes, it's a lot like reading Wolverine, and that's probably what drew me in. But then once you get into it, you realize, while it is, again, probably derivative, it has a fabric that makes it its own. I felt something in these books. I connected to them. I connected to Troll. I love Troll, and as a kid, I loved the Extreme Super Christmas Special. I mean, just look at that title. It's already extreme because it's from Extreme Studios, but it's even added on there with super and special. It must be great, right? The story opens as Troll returns to his home in Greece with an arm full of Christmas gifts and singing what I believe is an original Troll composition of a Christmas song about burning grandmas. And quickly, who is Troll? As I said, he's Wolverine to the extreme with some differences. Wolverine is like 200 years old, Troll is like 2,000. I'm not sure if those numbers are accurate, but that's kind of the point. He's been around a lot longer than Wolverine. He was born in 1006 BC. He was enslaved by some guy for like 1,000 years, then found a book of magic and had many adventures. The point is, like Wolverine, he's been around a long time, but longer. And unlike Wolverine, who doesn't remember most of his past, or maybe he does now, I don't know, I'm out of touch with current Wolverine, but Troll is very aware of everything he's ever done. Maybe other than the 1,000 years of being enslaved. He's also shorter. Inside, a rather large woman greets him. He can't see who it is, so he kind of gets spicy. I won't, this is a Christmas special after all. But this edgy adult side of Troll is definitely part of who he is. Of course, she wasn't what he was expecting, yet he knows who she is. He didn't recognize her new look, but recalls that she was forced to graze for 200 years. This is even more Wolverine-like stuff. It feels very on brand for Logan to have a long-lost lover show up angrily at your doorstep. She asks, "Where's the bedroom, lover?" No, I get it. These are edgy books, they're not funny books, they're not for kids, even though I was a kid and it's mildly edgy at best. But this edginess, this edge of spice, was definitely part of who Troll was. Wolverine kind of hinted at these things, and Troll sort of outright states them. Anyway, Cersei, the large lady, she used her magic to transform herself into her current form. Apparently, she's limited on magic. It's a finite resource, I guess? A power that recharges like an electric car? Or that car in Streets of Rage where you can call it to clear all the enemies off the screen? The magic questions continue as she seems to have placed a curse on all males, which would probably include me, and based on the date of this channel, you. And with that, every male will be turned into a warthog unless you share this video by Christmas, or unless he does something for her by Christmas. Or both. Maybe both. I don't want to be critical with logic, but if you establish something, you need to sort of establish it more clearly. I guess I just don't know how the magic works. Maybe if I consistently read more Troll, or if they came out more consistently at the time, it would have been more clear, but it's not. But then again, I'm probably way overthinking it. Fun Christmas special comic book from Extreme Studios for their Christmas special. However, on the same page, Troll goes into some Deadpool territory and gets very meta in a great way that I loved, so I was 100% back on board. She says, "You fancy yourself a collector?" He asks, "You want comics?" And breaks out a copy of Wizard to check the price guide on comics. It was great. Troll metafiction moment. He then warns how the upcoming flashback will give him gas, and while it's a bit crass and I don't know if I find it funny now, 12-year-old me rolling on the floor laughing at this. The flashback. We're now in ancient Greece. Troll sings the 12 Days of Christmas to a much younger and smaller Cersei. Now, I am not an expert on this song, but I do have a degree in history. And thanks to Google, I quickly became an expert on this song. While the 12 Days of Christmas as a concept dates back to 567, the song doesn't come till 1780. And I believe this flashback is in ancient Greece, although it doesn't give a year. Either way, the history probably doesn't line up here. But again, although I do have a degree in history, can't say I ever studied this song while in college. I probably sang it a few times. My personal take and how I would handle Troll here is, Troll is a great opportunity to rewrite history. Essentially, you put Troll into all these real historical situations or quasi-historical situations and have him do something that impacts real history. Like he did in the Halloween special, which I did a video about, which please check that out. I loved it, loved making it because I love Troll. And the more you guys watch Troll videos, the more I'll dig into Troll content. And I really do want to. I'll do it for me even if you don't watch it. That's the way this channel exists. But point being is, I would take Troll and have him sing the song, and essentially him be the one making it up for all these absurd reasons and all these absurd things that he would get for her. And he creates the song that then becomes a Christmas classic that he's not creating for that reason. He's creating just to like show off to her or show her how he loves her or to trick her, whatever it might be. But then it becomes this other thing. That's the way I would utilize Troll, in these quasi-historical ways. I think that's the fun of what you can do with a character like Troll. Because he's Wolverine, but a lot more fun. Back to the plot of the comic. He's singing a song implying that he'll give her all these things as gifts, in exchange for her to perform some kind of magic. The magic? Turning humans into sheep, I think. Not quite sure exactly, but that is what happens. Troll flex the magic back at her. Because Troll is Deadpool, Wolverine, and apparently George Lucas's original grave-robbing version of Indiana Jones all rolled into one, he does this to steal a necklace from her, saying he'll put it next to his Minotaur horn. Back in the 90s, he must gather all the 12 Days of Christmas paraphernalia, like a collector at Comic-Con. He is forced to fulfill his promise. Now I'll say, with the myth of Troll, And my love of Christmas, I love this story. I love the potential of this story. But there are certainly some big missed opportunities in execution, which we'll dive into now. First, I would have preferred that they throw us right into the action. It's not page 8 until the quest, the adventure of the action, the mission really starts. And I want to see Troll go on a crazy trip. Although you probably need some of this background context, I just want to see him having an adventure, getting all this stuff, which we get to now, but 8 pages into the comic. Cersei tells him that he can find a pear tree in Central Park, which I guess is helpful even though they're in Greece at the time, but, you know, I think it's pretty cool considering I just did my James and the Giant Peach video, and there's a peach pit in Central Park at the end of that book, film, and my video. So check that one out as well. We started at Macy's back in the 90s, where malls were cathedrals of our consumption and not rotting masses of concrete and metal reminding us of the folly of our consumption. He breaks in and steals. Now, again, I still enjoy this comic, but I have to be critical of it because another missed opportunity here. He should have to do these things in order, either in 1 through 12 or 12 through 1, something like that. The song is built on this idea that it's escalating in the absurdity and grand nature of each of these gifts. It should be that way as Troll has to get them, and it kind of is, but it skips around to the part we all remember in the song first, because that's the easiest one, and he just steals them from a Macy's. Troll then steals the turtle doves from a zoo, but we don't see it. We see the guards complaining about it. He breaks into the Bronx Zoo and flashes his Youngblood credentials when an armed guard tries to stop him. He's looking for calling birds. That'll be important. I think we kind of get what they may be going for here, the motivation of the security guard to help him because of the Youngblood thing, but I think it would be great if here he were somehow motivated by like the spirit of Christmas and giving and helping others. Like, let's help because 'tis the season to help steal turtle doves and calling birds. For the 11 dancers dancing, he kidnaps the Rockettes. However, again, we see them after they decided to join when they're piling out of the theater and into his ship. I would have loved to have seen the scene where he has to convince the Rockettes to come with him. That would have been great. Comedy, 5 golden rings. We get a phone call and we sort of see the building and we just see the person talking from their end of the call. And they learn that Troll's up to something and the Rockettes are involved. One of which, the Rockettes, is super intelligent and can pilot the ship. When Troll asks if she's so smart and can do all this stuff, why is she a Rockette? She says because she has nice legs. Which, frankly, that's a pretty good joke. But again, you have this character here that is establishing herself as more than what you expect. I wanted to see the scene where she and Troll have this argument, discussion, disagreement that becomes an agreement with why she then would join Troll in this quest and convince the rest of the Rockettes to join as well. But we don't get to see that. He then sets the coordinates to Bavaria for the maids and milking. But again, we don't see the part where Troll convinces them, charms them, harasses them, just straight up grabs them. We don't know. We just see them, come on everybody, we have to hurry, and running towards the ship. Finally, Youngblood Command is onto things and they start to realize what Troll is actually up to here. In France, Troll gets the hens, and in a really nice joke, the shopkeep mentions that he buys them from Connecticut. At the Parliament building in London, Troll is trying to convince some guy to give him the 12 Lords of Liefeld. Here, we finally get a scene of him convincing someone to join. As they all try to load up on the Youngblood jet, they're now too heavy, so he has to also use a big cargo jet to bring all this stuff with him. And the Lord of Liefeld guy mentions how this is kidnapping. At Youngblood HQ, we get some characters, but not the fun ones. We get like the businessman that run the team, the corporate liaison type of characters. We don't get Badrock or Shaft or someone. We get, you know, evil businessman type or good businessman type. I don't even remember at this point. But I want to see someone like Badrock be angry and say like, I'm gonna shoot him down. Cersei is watching It's a Wonderful Life, and a news report warns the Troll is up to something, so watch out for Troll. It's kind of like Jack Skellington at the end of Nightmare Before Christmas, where they have to sound an alarm that Santa's gone evil. It's kind of what's going on here, except it's Troll and they know it's Troll. It would have been great though if like they thought Troll was Santa or something. We don't see the pipers piping, but actually this one works because then Troll worries that he's getting sloppy because they're bagpipers. And he's not quite sure if it's the right kind of pipers to pipe. That I like. You know, we don't need to see this scene because then it's part of his own stress getting to him where he's now, is he making mistakes or not? Finally, Cersei gloats to the moon, on the verge of victory. Sure, she's about to win and see me, you, and your dad turn into a warthog. However, planes land and cargo hatches open up. And pouring out is the 12 days of Christmas. Troll sings the song all the way down through it, and I will spare you. But as he sings calling birds. And the original song said collie birds. He got it wrong, she won. But wait, possibly by sheer coincidence, the birds he stole were in fact collie birds. And she reverts back to sheep form and another few hundred years of grazing. For the Halloween special, it said Troll. Now maybe Troll wasn't selling books at the time, so this went with Extreme Super Christmas Special instead to help sell more books. But it's not really an Extreme Super Christmas Special, it's a Troll special. There's almost nobody else from Extreme Studios, from Youngblood, of any importance. And that was probably the biggest letdown of this comic. I can let my gripes with what they could have done aside, because, you know, we are limited by the length of a comic book. But at least in the length of the comic book, I want to see some other people that come from the Extreme Studios that are team members of Youngblood. We don't get to see that. And we learned that the calling bird thing wasn't just a coincidence, but that smart Rockette, she was the one who did that somehow. The thing I like here, though, is this conversation happens with Troll in jail. So he was, in fact, arrested for all of this, like if Kevin from Home Alone ended up in jail. Again, I enjoyed it, and I think you could have had a great Troll story if you inserted him into historical events, like some famous historical Christmas, or something to do with Santa, but from like the 1800s, like Father Christmas types of things, the birth of Christ, whatever you want to do it. Insert him into these historical things, almost like a Ben-Hur, where it's like a parallel to Jesus' life, that film. Or if it's Life of Brian, maybe, is a better example. But it could have been fun to have him in that way. Even though this was still fun, I think that could have been more fun. And I hope the unlikeliness that we'll see any more Troll, but if we do, that would be the way I'd want to see it. Have fun with Troll and quasi-historical stories. I will say, the best part of this comic, aside from the Mortal Kombat 2 ad in the back, is probably the back page ads, where you have some action figures from McFarlane Toys. And if I were to get a Bad Rock toy for Christmas then, or now, it would definitely be a very Merry Christmas.